Alright, this week marks the 18th year that I've been playing iRacing. I got the invite email June 25th, 2008, $20 for the first month to get in, and at the time I was racing R-Factor stock cars and ARCA-Sim Racing, but I just had this feeling that iRacing was going to be the place to be. One of the first racing games that I had for PC was NASCAR Racing. One before that was Bill Elliott's NASCAR Challenge, but that was kind of a different level old green screen game. I think that was on like 4 floppies. But this new NASCAR racing game was CD-ROM, and I only was able to look at the back of the box every time I went to Walmart for months as a kid, because we didn't have a CD-ROM PC. Finally, my parents upgraded their work PC, and we got that, and that was the start of my relationship with Papyrus, the company that made NASCAR racing, and went on to pretty much make every racing game I played through my childhood. NASCAR 2, 3, 4, 2002, the Busch Series update, the Busch Series and Truck update. That was one of the greatest updates ever with all the short tracks, because I love short track racing. IndyCar, Grand Prix Legends, Soda. A lot of people forget that game, but that was an awesome one as well. But yeah, then we found out that NASCAR 2003 would be the final game, and that came out just 1 month before I got shipped off to the desert. So a year and a half later, I finally get back home. I tried to do some real racing in a mini sprint. Had been doing go-kart racing before that, but I quickly found out that I am mechanically challenged. So I went back to sim racing, but it didn't feel as fun just racing AI anymore. So I had to start looking for online racing. R-Factor stock cars had just been released, and I started to mess around with that a bit while bouncing back and forth into NASCAR 2003, but really the only online stuff that was left there that was open to the public was Daytona and Dega, and I wanted to actually race. So also around this time, rumors of a new game started to float around. First iRacing. It was the same people behind all these games that I grew up with, and they were making a comeback with a new company, a whole new vision on what a racing game was going to be. And yeah, the website came up 2006, and I started to look at that, and like seeing the late model there and Stafford on the website, and I'm like, oh, this is going to be amazing. Like, I want a short track racing game, and it looks like this is gonna be a short track racing game. This is where I belong. So I'd come back and check the website over and over. I'd send them emails trying to get onto the alpha and testing team, telling them they needed to add dirt racing because Ratbag had kind of vanished at that time as well. And yeah, years of waiting and waiting, running R-Factor and ARCA-Sim Racing that just came out in 2008. They announced that invites would be coming out, and the login page finally became public facing, and on there was a sporting code that was linked, and I clicked on it and read through the whole thing because I was like, I want to learn more about this game. And it just felt like this was real racing getting put into online racing rather than just being a game. It was going to be something more, something with consequences, and just more to it to make it feel real. So I got excited about that, and then my invite came, like I said, June 25th, 2008. I instantly signed up. The forums everywhere online instantly exploded with complaints. You had to pay $20 for this first month. You had to pay $25 if you wanted an extra track. This game was going to fail. Won't last a year. The pricing model just had never been seen in racing sims. And we'd been used to getting a box, getting everything in that box, and then paying for a new box the year later, or 2 years later. And so this just really got the community going insane. And yeah, we are lucky that we had the people behind it to fund it through this initial phase of overpriced and different than everything else. Because if it needed to make a profit immediately, there's no way iRacing could have survived. But thankfully, John Henry, a sim racer just like all of us, other than he has billions, was able to get us through this first 5-year phase of not making a profit. So when I signed up, I was customer ID 16613. And that's the only customer ID I've ever been. We've got tons of people out there with multiple accounts, but I never saw the need for it, and I didn't want to pay multiple times for cars and tracks that I already owned. So there are now well over 1 million more accounts on the service than what the numbers started out with. I was so surprised by that when I went and looked. Could not believe it. So yeah, we got started doing this racing. I don't remember my first win at all. Apparently it was a rookie legends race at Lanier, and I led 28 laps, started from pole, won by 2 seconds. My first road win, I absolutely remember. I didn't have any clue how to road race. I've never watched a lot of road racing, never was around it. And so iRacing was kind of my first exposure to road racing. And that first race was VIR Grand West in the Skippy, and the entire field crashed in turn 1, and I kind of snuck through it. I think I got a 4X. And then I just had to try to not screw up as these faster guys tried to track me down after that wreck. And they were tracking me down by a second a lap over a 3-minute lap, and eventually got the win after 10 laps without screwing up, and I still remember that one. The oval ones, it's just oval racing, and I got a win. That one, though, even though it was handed to me, I felt like I had to earn it by not screwing up in a form of racing that I wasn't very used to. So a few years after the release, we decided to take a road trip up to iRacing for their first and only ever iRacing open house. And I got to meet all the staff that I had been bugging for a few years. Convinced Steve, I think, at this time to finally release the paved sprint car. And I got to hang out with Sean from Inside Sim Racing again, because I had met him and Darren down in Daytona early in 2008 for the ARCA Sim Racing marketing at Speed Weeks when I was on the Alpha team there. So I've been around for these 18 years.
Of course, between me and old Nick, we've been in the game for a long time. Maybe of course him longer than me, not trying to call him old, but...
And we all know the cost of iRacing is much more than you would get with a normal video game. So I went back and looked at what I've actually spent. The total, including credits that I've been given and put towards purchases, is $4,746.28 over the 18 years, which equals $263.68 a year, which is honestly not that bad, especially with all the hosted racing I've done and everything else. I have gotten $890 back from iRacing with credits and other rewards from them, as well as $520 from getting people purchasing subscriptions based off of my referral code that I put in my description of all the videos. So I've only spent $3,335 of my own money over those 18 years. And yeah, I think it's been worth it, especially when you consider that every 2 years is $200 purchase or $190 purchase or whatever it comes out with Black Friday deal. And that number was much lower than I thought it was going to be. Like, my PC cost more than what that costs. So, and clearly starting a YouTube channel has paid all of that back. For content that I own every single track, because to me, purchasing a track is actual value. For cars, I don't own a lot of the duplicates now. So ARCA, I only bought one of the new ones. The GT3s, I only have bought some of the stuff. I used to be pulled into that I want to be in the 100% club, and then I just realized the value isn't there for the discount, especially once I stopped purchasing them. I've saved over, $170, $200 by not purchasing everything, which is a bigger saving than the discount would be. So, doesn't give me access to everything, but a lot of the things aren't really needed because it's just a different body shape, especially on the oval side. So, how have I not got bored after 18 years? Honestly, I do, which is why I try to run different series season to season. I only just got back into racing the top 3 NASCAR vehicles and have taken a slight break from short track racing. So, road racing's kind of my escape into something different when I get sick of oval officials, and it's an unknown when I go into a road race. Most oval races, when I join, I can look at the lineup and weather and know exactly how the race is going to go and where I'm going to finish, just because I've seen everything. I know how I stack up against others, and I know that there's not much change from race to race when you're in iRacing. I've been part of big, fast teams where we've had great setups. We've ran tons of races over and over. I was a spotter and strategist for Dylan Duvall in the Coke series for a few years, but once the money started getting funneled into the series, it just kind of took the fun of the whole thing out of it. So I had to step away from that just because I can be a little fiery, and I didn't need to cause the team or him any extra hassle when the sponsors come in and the NASCAR teams come in. So really making content has helped over the last 6 years, just keeping me racing, but also creating a community of people who try to hold themselves to a higher standard while racing. I think the K5 Discord does a great job of that. We all have our bad days. Sometimes the anger just takes over, but the number one thing that's helped me is just forget about the ratings. Don't worry about it. Like, I've been a 3,500, a 4,500. Back in the day when I tried and I was on the team, I was at a 5,500, and that's when getting into the 5,000s was extremely tough anyways, because there wasn't a whole lot of people on the sim. Just go in, have fun, don't worry about the win. Worry about having fun and enjoying the money that you've spent on the game. If you're racing and having a good race with a guy for 13th, that's just as fun, and even more fun than being the guy out front that's miles ahead. Just go have fun and don't let the sim stress you. And also, if you don't care about where you're racing in the pack, you don't get scammed into paying for setups that everyone else is already running. What's the point of paying to run a fixed series where everyone's running the same setup? Show up with the fixed set and see what you can do. Someone's got to be the bad team. We're already on equal cars, so you're not as disadvantaged as those in real life that are at the back of the pack. So, yeah, after 18 years, I've completed 4,237 official races. In that, I've only got 255 wins over 18 years, 1,013 podiums. I know like 50, 60 of those podiums could have been wins had Kenny Humpy not existed, but we were on the same team, we had the same set, and he was 2/10 quicker no matter what. So, just how it goes in racing. Total time driven, 2,185 hours. and I've driven 258,000 miles, and that's over 223,000 laps. So, yeah, I mean, those numbers are low compared to most people, because you got these kids that just grind and grind and grind and do 6-7 races a day, and they're going to hit a wall. It's just like that typical, PUBG or Tarkov. You play like 8 hours a day, burn yourself out, and then don't come back to it for a year. And I did that. I had almost a year off where, I ran a couple of races, but only paid for a month. And once I found the balance of just getting 7 races a week, not stressing out about it, just enough for content to go out every day, it really just made it easier to enjoy the game, rather than trying to grind for numbers or grind all day long trying to get a win. Just have some fun. That's really the key takeaway. 18 years on a game, you gotta have fun. If you're miserable or you're trying to reach a goal that will never happen, I mean, most people are not going pro. You're better off, if you want to try to make money from sim racing, starting a YouTube channel. That's a whole lot easier, because you don't have to be good. You just have to provide some sort of entertainment. So over the years, it also hasn't been rosy. There have been random things that have come up that have kind of ruined the game. There's been weird things that you're just like, how did anyone ever find that? And just some hilarious things that have happened as well. First, one that ruined the game for so long, a lap 1 wreck on the start before the pace car reaches its pit stall. Sometimes the pace car would no longer leave the stall, and so the race would just have to be run under yellow. Everyone quit, give up, it's done. Q circles. This was a weird one that only the best of the best could ever find. People found out, and I think this went all the way back into NASCAR 2003, that if you did a little circle on the apron before you did a lap, it made your second lap at Talladega and Daytona quicker than if you didn't do the little circle. And there's an article on it. I'm not smart enough to repeat it. I haven't read it in a while, but it was this mathematical equation that just made it slightly different for odd laps versus even laps. And the fastest of the fastest people that could be as consistent as possible could see this, whereas people like me, we would have never noticed that there was a difference doing this. For a while, this is an old one that very few people are going to even remember. There was a suspension part floating in the air at Phoenix when you ran the Silver Crown there. It took them years and years to figure out how to get that to go away. Just one of those random, really, really strange things where you're like, how did that happen? And then I think the one that most people will know of is the old damage model. Sometimes you could get damage and it would make you much faster. And Sandeep found that out in the Pro Series or Driver World Championship. Got some damage and started flying. And I think we all remember that one. Then there was also the weird little things where joining right as the session changed from one to another would give you super speed and super grip. There'd be other things where weather was different for each person. Just a lot of random little things that are always going to happen in video games because you're trying to make math do realistic things. And sometimes the math just does its thing that it wants to, that you're not expecting, or loading in a certain part just takes part of the equation out. So there's been content too that we've lost. I'm mostly oval guy, so the old late model, we lost it. We never even got the hood scoop late model that was on the original iRacing website. The SK mod, we lost that old version of it. The old super late model, lost that for this new thing. The V8 Super Saloon, we didn't even get that. They scanned it initially, and then I think it was just probably too powerful, plus it didn't turn into an actual race car. It ran a few British events, but it was never really a thing. The sad ones that we've lost, or hopefully will one day get if they get really bored, Rockingham, UK, you know, a very unique oval, and then a bunch of road courses in the infield as well. Most Sport Oval, I think most people have forgotten that was even a thing. That was scanned, never finished. There was a Wall Stadium pre-release test scan, I believe, is what I remember, but I could be getting that confused with a different small track up in the Northeast. But they had that as a kind of test scan that they used, but it's never going to get released to us. And then there was this old rumor that I think is probably wrong, that there was an old paved midget scanned, but I think it was just people getting confused with the sprint car. If you can think of any other content, I know we've had a lot of announced tracks that have just kind of vanished, but if you can think of anything else, post in the comments. There's just so much more that I could put into this video. 18 years of racing a game. I mean, my attention to a game normally lasts about 3 or 4 weeks, and then I start playing something new. This, I've just been at it for 18 years, and even though it sometimes seems like I don't enjoy it, I enjoy the racing. I enjoy the good things about it. Even people in real life racing get upset and annoyed when things don't go their way. It's just part of competition. And the fact that this video game can pretty much just fully replace that competition that I need, it's pretty amazing. And it's amazing that it's lasted this long. And I mean, what we got, 18, 20 more years of it? Who knows? I mean, this thing could go on forever, or it could be gone in a year. You never know. So enjoy it while you can. All the staff that I've worked with iRacing, through all the communications that I've had with them, you know, it's been great over these years, and it's crazy to think that I wrote an article with Tony Gardner years and years ago about will we ever get the ring? Will we ever get Le Mans? The only thing left from that list is Monaco, and hopefully one day we can get that completed. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what else comes. I mean, this journey from a game that didn't have NASCAR to is now building NASCAR tracks. It's just crazy how far it's come. I don't think anyone could have ever envisioned that it would get to this point. So, for those that have been around as long as I have, what are some of your memories? What are the crazy things that you remember for the early days? I mean, I didn't even go into having to wait a whole season for promotion. You know, it used to take a whole year to go up to Class A. There's so much to talk about that's happened over the 18 years, and I think that's why iRacing has got to the point it is because it has evolved so much. So I hope you enjoyed this little look back. I found a whole bunch of those old videos on my YouTube channel. Sorry for the quality. Didn't have a good computer, and there wasn't good tech to record the monitors back then, so that is the quality we get. But yeah, it was fun to look back at all of this and kind of remember a few of the things that have happened over the years. 18 years, though, on one game is absolutely nuts. I cannot believe it. Thanks for watching.